when we were talking about the podcast idea initially over the last few months, we've mentioned it to a few people who we hold in high regard, and they've said, do you know, I'd love to come on as a guest at some point. And we love that idea, so we'll absolutely do that. And to give you a flavour of who those people are, we've come up with a couple of questions that we'd like to ask. So we, in the spirit of going there first, we'd like to ask each other so you get a flavour of, you know, us. This could be dangerous. We've not rehearsed this. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So question one then.
Question number one, Ben. What's your biggest leadership learn?
I'm glad you said biggest because there's probably several. I think I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. Being authentic. I think one of the biggest learns was when I wasn't, or when I was trying to do manager stuff and left my personality at the door.
Right.
And it was transparent, and I guess to the team it felt weird. And because of that, it didn't achieve the outcome that I wanted. It almost set me back.
Get that.
How about yours?
Like you, there's loads. I think my biggest recent leadership learn, and I'm going recent, and it still really resonates with me. I got a bit of feedback about 3 years ago that shocked me, and it was a piece of developmental, right, Martin, you need to do this. And it made me really go, I still need to work on my self-management. So if I'm having a good day or a bad day, everybody knows it. And it's how impactful that is on other people. And yeah, working on my self-management.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
So question number 2 then for you, Ben. If you could turn the clock back and turn the time, what's the time turner thing from Harry Potter? Whatever that time turn thing is. What advice would you give the young Ben Mooney from a leadership perspective?
I was going to say watch Harry Potter to figure out what that time turning thing is called, but I don't know what that is. What would I do? One of the things that I regularly, it might not be the best answer, but one of the things that I regularly speak to others about is a mistake I made with my overuse and reliance on coaching because it was comfortable and because I thought that was what people needed when it wasn't. So I used it, I believed coaching was the silver bullet. It would fix anything. And that's the advice I'd give myself. Just be mindful it's one tool in the kit and it's designed for a specific purpose. Using it in the wrong time would, takes longer than it should. It doesn't always achieve the outcome. So that'd be the advice I'd give myself.
Nice.
How about you? What would you tell younger Martin?
It's in the golden rules as it was bound to be. It's not important that everybody likes you all the time. And I used to do things to my detriment, to the detriment of the task and the team, because I just wanted people to like me. And leadership is not about being liked. And I was almost taught differently, but through painful and lots of painful experience about dealing with behaviour and stuff like that. That's definitely been one of those things which I would have handled very differently if I'd had that advice 20 years ago. Oh, this is getting deep. So question number 3 then. Why was and without naming them, why was the best leader that you've ever had the best leader for you, Ben?
It's funny this, as my understanding of leadership and skill set has matured slightly, I would hope, this answer's moved on a lot. So it would, so many years ago it would have been the person was the best leader because they were just so much fun to work with, and it made us feel like a good team. I couldn't really articulate what they did for that to happen at the time, but now I'd look back and I think the best example I've had of this is when someone demonstrated the courage, we talked about that earlier, to tell me something that I didn't exactly, they probably knew I didn't want to hear, because it might have been slightly painful, but it was something I absolutely needed to hear. And I think that was that was just one example of why I'd say I hold that person in such a high regard. Yeah.
Nice.
Same question then. You don't have to name them.
No, I won't name them. They'll probably, if they watch this or listen to this, they'll know it's them because I've told them. And for me, that they were the best leader because they backed and trusted me and valued my thoughts and opinions and ideas. But at the same time, if it went wrong, they would look in the mirror first. So I always, even if it was going wrong, I always felt supported and I always felt trusted and valued. And that relationship has continued to this day, even though they haven't been my leader for a long time. I hold them in such high regard because they did, this sounds really bad, they did everything they could to help me perform at my best. And they made it so much about me and not about them. That's why they're best leader for me.
I've heard you say that plenty of times actually. Look in the mirror before you look out the window.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's from Jim Collins's book Good to Great, and he talks about level 4 and level 5 leaders, and I love this. So a level 4 leader, when it goes wrong, they look out of the window for someone to blame, and when it goes right, they look in the mirror to someone to congratulate.
Yes.
A level 5 leader, when it goes well, they look out of the window for someone to congratulate, and when it goes wrong, they look in the mirror and ask themselves what they needed to have done differently. And I think that's just a beautiful way of describing what really effective leadership's about and how you motivate, inspire the people that you lead and show pure servant leadership.
Cool.
What do you want your leadership legacy to be? I know it's a tricky question.
I'd love someone or a number of people in time to look back at something that I did as a leader that might have been less popular, something that was probably quite painful at the time, as I just said, something that didn't feel good for them. Maybe it's performance management, for example, right? I'd love someone like that to look back and say, I can see what he was doing. And it helped me. I'd love to know. Now, I don't think I'd be fortunate to get that because I'm not too sure that people in years' time are going to come forward and say, oh, by the way, you did this thing and it really helped me. But my legacy, I'd like to think that has helped someone. But it might have been painful for both parties. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Well, that's kind of where my head is.
But again, it's one of those things that we don't think about that much. We're so wrapped up in the doing things on a day-to-day basis. You know, the phrase that we use, start with the end in mind. So actually, if I start with the end in mind from a leadership perspective, what do I want after all the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations? Why am I doing it? What's the purpose? And for me, that's where that legacy's come. And you know, my mind's really, I want to have made a positive difference to the people that I've led. Now they're not all going to do that. I want my legacy to go, yeah, he made a difference. They might not like it all the time, but they'll go, he wasn't wallpaper, he didn't just coast through, he really believed in this leadership stuff. That's what I want my legacy to be.
That's good. He really believed in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a badge.
Yeah.
He was, you know, there's something that, you know, we talk about quite a lot. You can know it, you can do it, or you can be it. And with my leadership hat on, I want all the people that I've led to be going, yeah, he really was a leader. He was being it. He wasn't just doing it or saying it or knowing the theory. He was absolutely that. He embodied it. Whether I liked it or didn't like it, that's what my legacy. That's what I'm really, you know, I'm not going to say I'm going to get there, but that's the goal.
I love that.
But let's finish on the most important question of all.
Oh, I'm bracing. Right, go on.
Ben, What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh dear, there's a lot.
I know what I'd answer to that question for Ben, by the way.
I'm gonna ask you what you think it
No,
would be.
no.
Can you not share it? You're not gonna.
No, I'm not going to share it.
Oh, I need to know them later on when we go offline. Wow, I'm a bit of a closet Swiftie.
Right.
I think Taylor Swift. Yeah, I think she's a great musician, brilliant business person, you know, and I get that. And if Vicky's watching, she'll be sitting there going, got him. Because she's been I think it's more indoctrination, you know, it's always on play. So yeah, I've seen the tours and the films and everything, but yeah, closet Swiftie. Right. What are you guilty of?
My guilty pleasure is property shows. So I will watch old episodes of Homes Under the Hammer. So if you're not in the UK, it's a property show in the UK where they buy houses at auction and then they watch people do them up and sell them, hopefully for profit. Mm-hmm. I love that. I'm currently loving a program called Bargain Block, which is a couple in America. They buy totally run down homes in San Diego and Detroit, and do them up. And I love that stuff. I'm not a massive fan anymore of another British show, DIY SOS. I don't like I'm doing it for this. I kind of quite like the commercialism and the competitiveness. Maybe that says a lot about me of some of those other shows. So that's my guilty pleasure.
I thought you were going to say Changing Rooms. Was the third one? Do you remember how bad that was?
Yeah,
Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen?
No, I did. No, it's Changing Rooms. I did used to like Changing Rooms, but that's a very early 90s program, and I think we've moved on a little.
When they put fur on the walls and invited people back in, there you go.
Let's not go there. So those are the 5 questions. Like Ben said, we said we'd go there first, so we're gonna try and ask all of our guests those 5 questions, and it's, you know, as we say, it's not a matter of being right or wrong, but it's just to get a bit of insight, I guess. Yeah. But hey, that's all for us from podcast 1. So hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you all again soon, or hearing from you all again soon. And please get in touch. But for now, that's all from us.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks very much indeed. See you later.